Over 264 million people across the world suffer from depression. 15% of us will struggle with it at some point in our lives. However, depression isn't just something you feel or something you can get over. Major depressive disorder is a serious problem with a cause that still remains unclear. So let's take a look at the science behind depression. Everything that makes you, from your emotions to your perception of life, all come from billions of tiny chemical reactions between your brain cells. Neurotransmitters, aka brain chemicals, are released from one cell to another, attaching to the receptors. They're like mini messages for your neurons to communicate, and they make you who you are. Scientists have long believed that depression is caused by an imbalance of certain neurotransmitters, especially serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. While these chemicals do play a role in depression, this theory greatly oversimplifies what's really going on. Researchers discovered that those with depression, compared to those without, have a smaller hippocampus, the part of the brain that controls memory, emotion, and motivation. And the longer they had depression, the smaller their hippocampus was. This suggests that stress plays a huge role and actually shrinks the hippocampus by inhibiting neurogenesis, which is just a fancy word for the growth of new nerve cells. This discovery reveals the complex science behind depression and how it is more than just a chemical imbalance. We once thought that antidepressants worked by regulating the levels of brain chemicals. However, if that were the case, people who take these drugs would feel better immediately. But they don't. It usually takes several weeks or months. That's because certain neurotransmitters can promote the growth of nerve cells in certain parts of the brain, especially the hippocampus. Think of your brain cells as plants. If you give them water and fertilizer, they're not going to suddenly sprout and thrive, even if the soil composition has changed. It takes consistency, time, and patience for them to grow. Like how after increasing the levels of certain neurotransmitters, the neurons still need time to develop. However, antidepressants don't work for everyone, since the brain and its chemicals are only part of the story. Depression runs in families. If you have a parent or a sibling with depression, you are 2 to 3 times more at risk than the average population. The theory is that certain genes affect the production and action of neurotransmitters, thus altering the growth of new nerve cells and the connections between them. So, is there a depression gene? Well, it's highly unlikely that such a common illness stems from one single gene, but scientists believe that there are many genes that affect your chances of developing depression. Other than genetics, additional factors that may cause depression are life experiences, medical problems, and even changes in season. We still don't know what the ultimate cause is, or if there even is one. But with a more complete understanding of the different factors, we could be able to pinpoint specific causes of depression in individuals to provide them with effective, personalized treatments. But that may be many years into the future. In the meantime, let's remember that depression is a disease you can't simply snap out of. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression or any other mental illness, talk about it, seek help. These struggles lead to hundreds of deaths per year, but the stigma around mental health is even deadlier.